Welcome to Conversations with Toy, a blogcast tackling life one episode at a time. This is the time to air out life's craziest moments. This space is all about speaking about life's hang-ups and ways in which we can leave better than when we started. Topics are all about ways we can find space to be better in life, love, mental space, and health.
Happy Friday. I hope that you had the most amazing weekend and week, because we know that this was a long weekend and a short week for many people if you had a day on or a day off for Martin Luther King Jr. Remember, Martin Luther King Jr. surpasses anything that just deals exclusively with race. It's about equality for all parts of our lives, whether it be religious freedom, sexual orientation, and more. Dr. King's legacy will live on. And I know that sometimes we want to get up and put a quote on our social medias, but I want us to learn to live our lives outside of quotes, outside of our social media, and live it in real life. If you are doing things like having Karen moments, being rude or ignorant to a neighbor who doesn't look like you, who doesn't respond like you, who has a different life and lifestyle, let's think about those things before we just start quoting Dr. King. The way that Dr. King lived his life was a man who tried to live his life full of integrity. And I would like to think that integrity also has to do with a moral compass. And although my morality may look different than your morality, there are just certain human things that we should always include. Ways to look at people as human beings instead of what they bring to the table or what they have. I want to try to do way better at that. So when it comes to Dr. King's legacy, live it on and offline in your real everyday life. You may not like somebody because of how they do and how they act. You just don't mesh well, but don't discriminate against somebody because they're different than you. For Dr. King's day, we decided to have just a family day. Some of my family members in my home did activities like doing things in our community over the weekend. And so we chose to spend the day doing family oriented things. My kids played a wonderful game of Monopoly that was given to them. It was almost like a Star Wars one. My son is engrossed with Star Wars and specifically Baby Yoda and things. And they enjoyed that. And I was able to take a nap and enjoy getting some things organized. We chose to spend our day as a family. We teach our kids to love everybody, regardless of what they look like, what they sound like. And we choose that if you're having a problem with somebody, let it be because of their character and not because of what they look like or what their orientation is. Character matters. And so I hope that when you are talking to your own children, should you have some, that you're doing your due justice to make sure that they're loving other people. For the weekend, though, I must go back and talk about the weekend. Over the weekend, I had just the most amazing time. Now, if you are a parent, you don't have to be a parent, but if you happen to be a parent, you know that your job is basically being a Uber parent. So with 3 children of my own, that means I am running around from pillar to post between my husband and I. And I just want to say thank God for having support, because I know my heart goes out to every single father and every single mother who are doing the job of 2 people as one. But I am grateful for my personal support system. And when we have 2 to 3 places that we have to be, we just divide and conquer. And a lot of people always ask me how I'm able to run, my blogging business and doing the podcast and just always being around and doing things. It's because I have a great support system. And this weekend we had to play our part as Uber parents, going from one place to the other. But I was able to somehow sneak in a little bit of me time. Now, if you've never listened to this podcast before and this is your first time, you already know, first of all, it's not by accident that you stumbled upon this particular episode. There's something in it that you need. And whatever that is, I hope that you're able to get it. Something that reassures you, reaffirms you, make you think. Sometimes it may make you laugh, and then sometimes it also may make you cry. Whenever there's something I believe is a trigger warning, I do my absolute best to talk about that, just to let you know so that you're fully aware. But in this particular episode, we have an amazing guest. Now, before I talk about who our guest is for today, I want to just finish about the weekend. Over the weekend, I enlisted some time to do some little bit of self-care, and that includes going to bookstores. I know that sounds like major nerd alert, but I'm okay with that. right? And so I spent some time at a bookstore this weekend and I was able to get a crossword puzzle. Listen, if you don't know nothing about no crossword puzzles, I assure you, you should get a book. So I got a crossword puzzle book, one that was big enough for me to see, but also can fit in my purse or bag, whichever bag I switch out of. And the reason is because sometimes I have a little bit of downtime, like I may be waiting for something to start or going somewhere and I just have a little bit of time to kill. That was able for me to like get this book so that I can do my little crossword puzzles. And so I was really grateful, completely grateful for that. And just having a little bit of coffee, enjoying my quiet time before I picked my girls up. And then we had some amazing food this weekend. If you are in the Philadelphia area and you have never been to a Walkworks, I want you to take the time to go into Fishtown, especially if you're close. They have amazing walk-up where you can put your order in. Now, it's going to take you about a good 20 minutes, but that's because when you put the order in, they make your food fresh and right there for you. They have all kinds of options from chicken, shrimp, even vegan options and desserts. So go ahead and give them a try. They're out in Fishtown. Trust me, you will fall in love with it. I've never been to any Walkworks location and didn't have amazing good food. So give them a try. Resting over this weekend, I hung out with one of my girl, Elle. We went to Rivers Casino where we saw En Vogue. Let me just say, En Vogue has not missed a note. Them women were on point. Being at Rivers Casino, they just did an amazing job hosting us. We had great food. We had great drinks. And just being with my girl, like sometimes self-care comes in the form of being with a friend and being able to talk about things. And when you're with the right friend, when you're with a real friend, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to put on no facade. You can be who you need to be. We cracked up about the littlest of things. We have our own little secret language, little things that we do. And it's just a lot of fun just to hang out. And I'm grateful for friendship. You know, there's a lot of friendships that have been tested over the last couple of years. Some that, I don't know where they stand, and it just is what it is. But when you have a good and a decent friend, I want you to hold on to them because it's an amazing feeling to know that you have somebody who loves you for who you are and not because of what you can do for them. Not because of what you can do for them, but because you are just who you are and you can be your most authentic self. So I hope for everyone listening that you can find at least one, and you don't need a whole lot of them. Like there's people that are just associates, people that you just associate with when you're in a different, location. Maybe you're in the same type of field, but you're not really good friends. You're just associates. Treat them well, but they're not necessarily your friend until you can truly just be your authentic self around them and really just be you. I wish that for everyone that's listening, that you have that moment. I mean, it's amazing to just know that that exists in a world where we're already dealing with all kind of depression and all kind of carrying on and negative in our lives. We should be able to have one friend that we can look up to. So that was my weekend, resting, some self-care, Uber parent, having an amazing show, eating some amazing food, and taking a good quality nap. Now, I don't know, maybe your life is not where, like I work from home, you may not have that, but even if you work a full, job outside of the house and you're doing whatever it is you're doing, if you can get a nap in somewhere, even if it's on the weekend, just a 15, 20 minute, even a 30-minute nap, please do so. It is something about a nap that will just do your soul so good. And I was able to get that over the weekend, and I just feel good about that. That is like parts of my self-care that I try to take care of myself more. I'm completing my January goals of making sure I'm in the gym, eating my fruits and vegetables. Listen, I'm doing all the things to make sure that I take care of myself in every possible way. And they say that goals, if you do them for 30 days, they become a part of your reality. You kind of do them every day. It becomes a part of your routine. But also in February is when all those people who made those goals of New Year, New Me, be very, very, very sure that you're doing everything you can to stick to your goals. And listen, if you make a mistake where, you went through a whole week, you were supposed to be at the gym and you didn't go, don't say wait till tomorrow. Don't say I'm going to wait till next week to get back on. Get up right now while you're listening to the podcast and do some steps, just standing in place, doing some fast-paced steps in place as just a start. And do those things so that you can get moving. If you aren't able to go to the gym, you can make the gym right at your house. Listen, I've lived in a studio apartment before. This was not a couple years, but long little bit ago. But I remember my first studio apartment. And listen, that thing wasn't big enough to hardly sneeze in. but I know that I could make it my own. And sometimes when you're thinking about, you can't afford to go to the gym or you can't afford certain things, you just have to learn to be a little creative. If you can be creative during a hard time, when you finally get to the place that you want to be, I promise you're going to take off. And I say that because not everybody's homes is this beautifully aesthetic. So you may be on these social media and see things that are, don't align with where you are. And you may get a little jealous or upset. Find a way to be creative in the space that you have. One thing my mom always taught me, and a lot of people don't know this, when I was younger, we had an unfortunate situation and we had to stay in a shelter. That's not to put my family out there like that. It's just, it was what it was. It was just me and my sister. I believe me and my sister and my mom. And I'm not sure if my brother was born yet, but as hard as that was, and it always brings back a lot of, weird feelings. Sometimes I'm okay with it. Sometimes I'm not. But one thing that my mother definitely taught me, there's two things. One thing she always said was to make your space as clean as it could possibly be. Just because you live in a shelter don't mean you got to look like you was in one, right? That was the first lesson. And then number two, she said, treat your space as if it was the most beautiful mansion that you've ever had, which means treat the small spaces you have well. And when you get to the next space, you'll know how to treat it. So when you're asking and you're putting things on your vision board that says a new car, or you're putting things on a vision board that says a new house, make sure you take the chance and make sure you take the time to clean out that car you got right now. Because if you have the mom car that has the chicken nuggets and the Cheetos and all the things in there, go ahead and clean that car up. Because when you get a bigger car or a better car or a different car and you don't take care of this one, you ain't going to take care of the second one. And if you want a bigger space, but you won't keep that studio apartment clean, when you get to a bigger house, it's more rooms to clean. There's more requirements from you. So that was just my little word of wisdom coming straight from my mama, how she taught me when I was younger. Treat your very small as if it was big. And when you get to big, you'll be able to do what you got to do in your space. So I don't know who that's for, but that was free. We're going to get into our guest. Today's guest is probably one of the highlights of 2023. Now, I know we just started, so don't come at me talking about we only a few days into the new year. Don't do it. Don't do it. But if you ever have a conversation with someone, like I always deal with how people, their spirit, right? And when you deal with somebody and you talk to somebody, you really can take in the essence of them if you just take 5 seconds to listen and just have your spirit in tune to other people. Well, this particular interview has to be the highlight of my 2023. It has nothing to do with all the accolades because our guest comes with the receipts. They have done the work. They are doing the work, right? It hasn't even do any with all that. It just has to do with when your spirit meets somebody else and that person is just genuine, you feel it right off the gate, right? And if you ever talk to somebody and that you get that feeling, you'll know when you know. But today's guest is Tarik Lowe. He is playing Private First-Class Melvin Peterson. Now, what is he playing in? Well, this particular show is happening at the Kimmel Center and it's called A Soldier's Play. It's happening January the 24th all the way through February the 5th, and it's going to be at the Forest Theater. So that is his role in the play. Tarik Lowe is an actor and a writer known for his versatility and dramatic depth. He debuted in Music of the Heart, starring Meryl Streep. And his film includes the Oscar-winning Whiplash, The Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete, Pimp, and he was the co-writer and star in supporting characters, which premiered at the Tribeca. For TV roles, he played in One Life to Live, Major Crimes, Blindspot, Outsiders, Law and Order, which is one of my favorites, and Blue Bloods. Blue Bloods is just one of those shows you got to go back and you just got to watch. So we have Tarik Lowe, who is going to talk to us about his role as Private First-Class Melvin Peterson in A Soldier's Play. I can't even tell you, we're going to listen to it soon, but how amazing this conversation was. Not only did we talk about his role, not only did we talk about what he would hope that the audience takes with them, we also talked about him as a married family man. We talked about when he knew he knew. Some women love to say that men just don't know what they want. But I feel like you don't have the man that knew what he wanted, and so you might have found one that played games. And I've had that too. Listen, don't get it twisted. My husband is an amazing man, but I've had some men that played some games. But when you meet a man that knows what he wants, there's nothing that can be done that's going to stop that. That's called drive and ambition, and they just know when they know. So for all my ladies that's listening, listen, I just want to repeat. He is a married family man. But listen to what he says about when he knew and how he just knew, and his life began to just garner and make room. He made the room for his family. And you don't always hear a bunch of men say that. So outside of my husband and the many men who have done this, there is hope, ladies, that when a man knows, he knows. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what Tarik does for self-care, because, you know, as a self-proclaimed self-care queen, I always love to talk to other people to see what do they do for self-care. How do they take care of themselves? So without any further ado, welcome, Tarik. All right, family or framily, however you like to be addressed. We are here with Conversations with Toy. We have a really good treat today. I'm super excited. We have Tarik, and he's here. And I don't know if you can put into words, like we've already read his bio, so you already know all the things. But I'm super excited because, first of all, this is an outstanding actor, right? He has been in so many different genres. But he is coming to Philadelphia. And if you're saying, well, why is he coming to Philadelphia? Well, there is a new show coming, and we want to honor that by having him come and speak about it. And Tarik, thank you so much for being here.
Wow, that's a great opening. I like that. I'm going to bring you with me everywhere I go.
And I will be ready to go.
That's how I want to walk into the buildings. Yes.
Yes. So beautiful. You are coming to Philadelphia.
I cannot wait to come to Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. I grew up in New Jersey, so Philly was always like the sister town, city to us.
Right.
And so I'm excited to come out there, bring in a Soldier's Play. Wow, it's been such an incredible few months just working on this, and it's every day, 8 shows a week, but I love it. I love it. It's 6 days, 6 out of 7 days a week. We're doing 8 shows a week. And it is just so powerful to bring this story to people and watch the audiences loving it.
Now, I've been hearing good things, because this is a drama. This is about a Black commander that got killed. This is a drama. So if you're listening and you're just like, well, a drama. No, I love drama. So I'm here for it. And I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
Well, I would like to say it's a drama with comedic elements.
Okay.
And it's an entertaining show. I mean, for me, I feel like as an actor, you're sort of a salesman to whatever product you are working on. And this one is one of those ones that I guarantee you get entertained when you come out to see us. It's a no-brainer. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning play written by a man named Charles Fuller, who hails from Philadelphia.
Right.
And he is a legend of Philadelphia. He passed away, I believe, last year. These words were written in the 80s about these soldiers from World War II, who are these Black soldiers who are based in Fort Neal, Louisiana, which is the deep South. So they're dealing with all
they can't get too much deeper than no. They cannot.
And it's that way. And all the elements of race and sort of being pigeonholed as these Black soldiers and not being given the right to go out and fight. They want to risk their lives and to fight for their country, to establish something for their people. And they're kind of held back from being able to do that. And so a murder occurs where a sergeant is murdered, and a lot of questions
start to come out, right?
Start to come to play. And Davenport, Captain Davenport is sent in to basically investigate the murder and figure out what's what. And that's kind of all I can give you without giving too much.
I was about to say, do not give them too much. Don't give me too much, because I'm telling you, I'm excited to see this.
Yes, absolutely. We're excited to have you.
So how does this particular role differ from the roles that you play? Because you have quite an extensive resume. You really do.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'll tell you this. I've traditionally worked in film and television. And I've always had a great love for the theater. but I've actually never done a play before.
I'm actually surprised to hear that, honestly.
You know what? And a lot of people are, and when they come see the play, they're like, "Wow, this is your first play." But I'm a veteran to acting, and I love it in all its different ways. So to do this as a play is, for me, is a dream. It's just an absolute dream. Working with Kenny Leon, who is the best in the business as far as this play stuff goes, directing in general, he's the best in the business. I always wanted to work with Kenny Leon, and I'm playing a role that, of course, Denzel Washington originated. I'm not sure if that was ever specified, but
it was. And so how does that feel? Because you're not filling his shoes. You're not. You're coming in with your own flavor to this. How does that make you feel?
100%. Yeah, it's a role that I know is validated because he played it, and I know that there's great depth to the way that he played it. I've gotten to live a very experienced life. I've traveled the world. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I have had a lot of success. I've been down. I've gone broke before and made it back. And so what I have to give to it is me. It's just original. It's the life that I bring, and it's gonna feel different than what Denzel played it when he was younger than me. It's gonna feel different. Right. And I look at him. He's a great shoulders to stand on. I've always admired him greatly, but I'm me. So
I love that.
See what I got. Yeah,
I love that. So I know that you're a family man because I've done my research and all of the things. How do you balance? Because you do play a lot of roles. You are acting. You're doing a lot. How do you balance this, if there's ever a balance? Because I'm a wife, a mother. It's never fully a real balance. But how do you attempt to balance all of that?
Right now, my wife and my daughter are on tour with me. They're here. I mean, I don't want to just be held up in various apartments and hotels, and I'm not a partier anymore. I had all that fun. I did all of that, and so my balance is having family is my balance. Because work is so important to me, and I take it very seriously. I need something that I can just be myself in. And with my family, I feel completely at home. Everywhere we go, this is our home. So we just turn wherever I'm at to our home. So it's all good.
What a blessing to be able to say that. A lot of people can't do that they can travel with their family and still, be in their craft and do all those things. That's a blessing, to be honest with you.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't do. I mean, this is a long tour. This is altogether it's 8 months, and so for me to be away from my family for that long is just undoable for me. So they're here. They help me establish balance.
So can I just say this? So that is very, very, first of all, a blessing, but beautiful. And I like to say that because a lot of people who are single or whatever they're trying to do for 2023, a lot of them are like, oh, we can't find good men. These are my husband, you or as a husband, they do exist. And so it's just refreshing to hear you say, like, I don't want to be away from my family. I want my family to come along this journey with me. I just love hearing that.
100%. For me, when I met my wife, I was ready to settle down. I wasn't always like this. I was the was the guy that the side guy. I was the player, all of it. And I got to a stage of development where I realized I've done all of that. What I've never done is been faithfully committed to someone and honored them and lived that. And I want to see where that goes, how deep that can go. And that to me was the new excitement. There was a new joy to that because I had never done that before. And so, I think becoming a husband and a father has just shaped me in such a better way than, it's made me a man, really. Because, I got a daughter too. So I get to enjoy that and see life through the eyes of a little lady.
Oh, I hear that. So, yeah. I have mine too. My 2 daughters and my son. So I get it.
Yeah.
We got our hands tied. Yeah. So you're in this show. This is an extensive schedule. In my opinion, this is a lot. And so how do you personally, I know you have your family there, they're your balance. How do you personally bring in self-care for yourself when it comes to, getting into character, leaving the character on the stage, and then, stepping out of that into your personal role, your husband, and all these different things? How do you practice self-care?
Wow, self-care is so important to me. My wife would say, like, I am just routine guy. That's what I am. I'm routine guy. Already, it's in the morning. I've already woken up, worked out.
So have I.
I take freezing cold showers every single day. That's part of my self-care. Freezing cold showers every single day.
I can't do that.
Multiple a day. I can't get sick though. I hate getting sick.
Okay.
And I've learned that if you take a cold shower every day, you have a resistance to being sick that is unmatched. Look it up. It sounds
I'm gonna take
crazy.
your word for it. I may even give it a try.
Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Look it up. Wim Hof, if you're interested, Wim Hof is a person to check out about the value of cold. I take cold showers. I meditate almost every single day. I meditate for about 10 to 15 minutes where I just breathe in very slowly, about 15-second breaths. So in 15 seconds, out 15 seconds, in 15 seconds, out 15 seconds. I do that for about 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes. With my eyes closed, and something happens, and it will happen to anybody. That's part of my self-care. Other than that, just trying. Also, a big part of it is letting stuff go. That's part of my self-care. Not dragging all this stuff with me. If somebody does something that I don't like, it's not personal. I don't take nothing personal. Cool. Part of my self-care, another part of my self-care is if I have an issue with somebody, I'll be extra nice to them. That's part of my self-care, because you know what? Nobody could hate you when you're nice to them, when you show them love. And when you even have an issue, they want to have a fight with you, and you look very nice today.
Right. They can't fight that. I just
want to tell you that. I love what you did in there. Just a second ago. I love what you did in there. It's just like it throws their whole vibe off. It'll change their whole vibe. That's part of my self-care, keeping other people's stuff off me.
I hear that. And so that's a word. That's already a message. If you haven't caught that, that was a whole message right there. How are you in the cast? Like, how well do you guys get along? I'm sure you guys get along fine, but how do you guys, come together and like really just make this show what it is?
I mean, it's all amazing brothers. Some of our Caucasian brothers in there as well. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's a lot of brothers that are just great individuals. I mean, I really enjoyed everybody. I mean, there's no beef. We are brothers. We pray before we go on stage. You know what I mean? We in the back, we on the side, we holding each other's hands, we praying to God, and we lifting each other up. We give each other pounds. Hey, my man, I love what you did today. It's so much love, like it's crazy. We really are becoming soldiers in that sense. And that's the beauty of doing a play like this and being able to bring this kind of stuff to people, because you do become brothers. You do become soldiers. Our war is every night. We bringing you guys a great show, right? And we win in every battle. So
I love that.
So yeah, man, it's great gelling with all of them.
So anything last words before we conclude?
Last words, come out to see a Soldiers play. We'll be in Philly at the Ford Theater.
Yes, January 24th.
At the Ford.
You got it right. January 24th through February the 5th. That's
pretty soon. So get your tickets. Yeah. We're definitely like full houses every night. We full house and a lot of seats, and people just loving it. I mean, honestly, come see the show. If you haven't, and this is the last thing I'll say. If you don't go to theater a lot, it's a good show for you, because it's one of those shows that's gonna remind you why the theater is important and why these stories are important for us to be talking about classics that were written by Black people, a Black man from Philadelphia. It doesn't get more monumental than that. Come out to see a Soldiers play.
And I will definitely be there. I think I'm going to bring my daughter. She loves the theater. I take all of my kids at least once a month to a theater show.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's a
we have a
great
rotation. I think she's up for that rotation. I think she requested this particular play, so I'm definitely going to have her there.
Excellent.
Yes. So, Tarik, thank you so much. I enjoyed this conversation. I can't wait to see the play. Remember, January the 24th through the February 5th. Get your tickets now. Do not let this play go and you're not there, especially Philly. Come on, Philly. We got to stand up for our own. Come on now. We got to be in the building.
Love it.
Thank you, Tarik, so much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure.
So, what did you think? I'm telling you, do not miss this opportunity to see a soldier's play. Again, it is coming January 24th, playing all the way through February the 5th. It is going to be playing at the Forest Theater. Tarik is in it. There are some amazing heavy hitters. There are some amazing heavy hitters in this particular production. I cannot wait. My daughter, all of my kids love history, but my oldest daughter, she is engrossed. Anything that has to do with going back and learning about the history of black people, the history of all people, not just black people. Let's get this twisted, but she just loves history. Now, I love that. And so, of course, I'm going to make sure she is my +1 because I want her to be in the building to see this. Sometimes when you read a book and you see it, it's something that stands when you get to see a visualization of it. And when you get to see history kind of transform itself in front of you, I feel like that, in my opinion, is the best way to teach. So I try to get my kids involved in seeing all kinds of theater shows, from entertainment and everything in between, stuff that talks about hard topics that, again, as a parent, I try my best to explain, but sometimes that visualization helps with when you're raising your children. So I'm all here for that. The show is coming. You want to get your tickets now. Again, I can't stress that enough. Tarik was such an amazing interview. I enjoyed speaking with him, learning more about his role, learning more about the show, learning about him as a man and a family man. That personally means so much to me, being a married woman, to hear other men outside of my husband that talk well about their families, talk well about their wives, speak up about their children, who don't have a problem with saying, like, this is just what I'm about. And to hear about the things that he does for self-care, the way that he takes care of himself, like, listen, tune in, listen, and go back, share this episode with someone else, especially if they're in the Philadelphia area. And this is also a show that's all around. So you're going to want to make sure you tune in to see exactly where it's playing near you. Again, if you're here in the Philadelphia area, it's going to be here on January 24th through February 5th at the Forest Theater. Get your tickets now. But, we had a great episode this episode, and I'm so grateful for the time that we had. And listen, when it comes to self-care, I can't say this enough. When it comes to self-care, make sure that you're practicing it as much as you possibly can. Don't wait till Self-Care Sunday to tap in, because that's the only time that you want to, your mindset goes to Self-Care Sunday. Like, I'm not telling you not to indulge. Like, when it comes to Self-Care Sunday, that's when you probably lean in and do a lot more. But do and take care of you every single day. There are times when I'm stressed out and I'm having bad days, bad moments. And I'm hoping it'll get better. Things will just, even out, or, whatever the case may be. But sometimes it just needs a little push. And sometimes for my mental health, just saying to myself, things are bad, or I don't like the way this decision is going, or things are not aligned the way that I want to, but let me just go ahead and take the time to ask a question, or maybe take the time to take a deep breath, or read a book, or look at a magazine. Like, it doesn't have to be anything major. It doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg. You don't got to sell your blood to do it. Like, sometimes it just comes down to putting that energy right back into yourself. What are some of the things that, as we're getting closer and closer to the end of the month, and I just want to send a little reminder. A lot of times when we start our new year, new me, oftentimes by February, that's in 2 weeks? Oftentimes we fall off of our goals. That means we're not finishing them. We're not completing them. We're not doing the things that we said that we were going to do. So we fall off. We're not steadfast in what our focus. And I want to send this reminder, as you obviously get your tickets for the show, that you have to stay steadfast in your goals. There is not going to be anybody that is going to complete anything for you but you. And when it comes to knowing what you want, how you want, and what you visualize yourself doing, you have to not only write the vision and make it plain, but you have to make a plan to execute that. You got to make a plan. How do you plan to lose weight? If you want to lose weight, how do you plan to lose weight? Do you plan to work out however many days? Maybe try something new. Listen. there are times when people cannot afford to go to the gym, right? And if you can't afford to the gym, bring your gym to home. You might have a small studio apartment. You can do steps, doing some high-speed steps in your house while you're watching a TV show. Listen, we're already going to be watching that TV. Well, I'm not a huge TV watcher. You can ask my husband. I'm not a huge TV watcher. But when you have that time to watch a TV show, don't do it sitting down. Just stand up and do it. Do it for however long the show is on, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever the case may be. Do it for that amount of time. Get yourself pumped up and ready to do your very, very best, to take care of you. Listen, spend about 15, 20 minutes if you can't do anything else, but have some type of movement. Take a small walk, sit outside on your porch for self-care. Drink your coffee in the morning. I know it's cold. Philadelphia is cold, but there's been plenty of times where you just sit for just a couple of minutes, the air coming out or the sun being out, it does wonders for your mood. This week, I went to an event during the day, which I don't normally do. So if anybody's hearing, don't start, bringing me to all the things, because I can't always do stuff during the day. I have meetings just like everybody else, but I went to this event and, I couldn't find parking to save my soul. This was actually at the Kimmel, which is where I'm always at. But I couldn't find parking because that's just the way it is. So I finally found, after I went around the block a couple times, and it was about maybe 4 to 5 blocks away. But I enjoyed that 4 to 5 blocks just of walking, getting fresh air, like to and fro. I just was like grateful for that. Like, let's put some more gratefulness into our lives, some gratefulness into our hearts, the way that we think, the way that we move. And just start finding ways to love more. Self-care and self-love go a long way. I mean, the way that you look at yourself in the mirror and the things that you say, you're listening to yourself. You're telling yourself, I'm so ugly, I'm so fat, I'll never do, I'll never get, I'll never have. Stop speaking that crazy stuff into your life. Say, listen, I don't have it right now, but I'm on my way. I'm about to start having all kinds of money in the bank to take care of my needs. But then say, God, or whoever you pray to, listen, give me the wisdom so that when I get that money, I'm not out here going to Starbucks and giving all my money, or I'm not at Target and maybe I'm speaking to myself, and that's fine. But just give me the wisdom to have and do what I need to do for myself. I am sending you all the love, all of the encouragement, all of the things your way. I hope you have the most amazing weekend. Because we are talking about a soldier's play, the drink of the day is the Buffalo Soldier cocktail. Of course, as I always do, I will leave the recipe in the show notes. Make sure that you click in the show notes to get your tickets to A Soldier's Play coming on January the 24th, playing all the way until February the 5th, so that you can see Tarik and the rest of the cast bring history to life, right? Bring history to life. It's going to be amazing. If you don't know much about Soldier's Play, this is Charles Fuller's work. He is from Philadelphia. This is his hometown. He sadly passed away, but it takes place in 1944 on a Louisiana Army base where 2 shots ring out and a black sergeant is murdered. So there's going to be 1, we got to figure out what happened. 2, there's going to be all kind of stories that lead up to the moment. 3, it's going to be something for you to learn, something for you to take home. And again, when I say take home, take messaging home, something that's going to help you in your own personal life, even though this happened back in 1944. We're going to learn about all kinds of things about what America meant back then and how some of these things haven't fully changed now, but how we can do our part to do better. Listen, it's got all the things. So I want you to make sure you get your tickets, get them. And I will see you next week for more conversations with Toy.
Thank you as always for joining me, and I know that even in the deepest or joyful conversations that there's something we can learn and apply. Until next time, I hope that you are doing better. If not, we will be back to talk some more and handle it. Peace to you and yours. Stay grounded.